Shabbos and good morrow. Let's talk about the news, okay? So I was thinking about it, and I've been watching the news a lot just to kind of be a smarter person, I guess. I don't know. I don't have no motive behind it. Don't follow my example. But what I think is really interesting is I feel like there's 4 to maybe 5 types of news styles. There's conservative news, which is like Fox News. There's liberal news, which I guess you would consider MSNBC, CNN. I don't really watch those a lot. I don't watch Fox News either. I'm just saying I don't watch mainstream news a lot. I'm just kind of going with boom, raised on. Fox News was a little more conservative. Liberal was more MSNBC, NBC, CBS, kind of that stuff. I don't know. Go for what you will. But you have those 2. Then you have a third, which is more of this localized attention on America and its underbelly and more of the truth seeking with independent networks such as RT or Telesur or BBC. All of those are funded by other countries. They're very pro-truth towards America. So if you're a journalist and news reporter who want to work for a station that seeks the truth, or if you're an audience that wants to pay attention to truthful media about America, those would be probably more resources you'd want to look into, at least to get an unbiased opinion. However, those have their flaws as well. Obviously, with such a lax provisions on what you can say or do in regards to topics on America, and you can dig deep and be a true journalist, they don't want you critiquing them. So I think a lot of it has to do with it's still a controlled medium. I think the 4th way you can get news is these independent people, these people who are seeking out stories and reporting on them, whether it's via YouTube or Twitter or Facebook. I mean, we have journalists all over social media. There's independent websites. I think this is such a cool, unique time for news, and I just thought it was really interesting. I feel myself, I have consumed all 4 types of those mediums, obviously raised on mainstream media and their news, and I just see such a difference in the way not only the news is reported, but also the topics they discuss, the way they talk about people with an unbiased edge. I feel like when you get spoon-fed mainstream media, you are being told to either believe things one way or you're the opposition. And I just feel like most news stories, by now, we are realizing they're stories. They're all individualistic representations of what really happened, right? So yeah, you have this story of why this thing went wrong and why these people are criminals, but they have a story too, and somewhere down that path they weren't the criminal and they weren't the one seeking injustice. I mean, honestly, if we started looking at people and their motives and the reasons they're doing things rather than being told by a news channel representative that this is how we feel, it will create more of a dialogue, and I feel like it'll force us to think a little more deeply about a subject. I do personally get a little nervous when I'm talking to somebody and they only get their news from one source. I mean, me myself, I'm all over the goddamn place. I don't even like Fox News, and I watch it probably for a half an hour once a week, once every 2. You know, you check in, you kind of get your sources, or maybe there's a story about how Fox News reported a story. I'm just saying, like, you need to be able to kind of move around the board. Like, I don't want your perspective when it's constantly like, ew, if you're not white, you're not right, or ew, if you're not pro-gun, you're not pro-fun. Like, weird that those both rhymed, like I didn't even try that, but I'm just saying, it's weird to me. It's weird when the sole Fox News people start yapping, and it's weird to me when the sole MSNBC people start yapping. Let me mind you, I don't like neoliberals just as much as I don't like neoconservatives. I think they're both creepy. Don't be an extremist in any way. You can be extreme about something, but never a political view. I feel like people who straddle one party are kind of creepy. I don't like the bipartisanship we have going on here. I think we need to open it up. I think we should have 10, 20, 50 different groups running. I mean, we need diversity, we need choice, we need people who are not looking out for big business anymore. This is a failed plan. I mean, we need to correct it. I honestly think a perfect example of how the media can mishandle such a simple story so wrong is what's going on in Oregon right now. In my eyes, they don't look like the bad guy. They didn't cause any harm to anyone. They're telling everybody, hey, we don't want violence. If you come at us, we can get violent. We are here armed, but we aren't seeking that. They want to talk. Their message is a little unclear, but I think that's the media's fault, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. This whole the media can manipulate a story thing, and that's what we do in 2015. That's the news that everybody is prepared for. How the media is going to spin a story to cause some people to get enraged and to cause others to be in fear. It's just this back and forth tug of war. If we started realizing, well, hey, why are these guys in Oregon, and let's fish for deeper meaning. If this is a story you give a fuck about, then why don't you look at both sides? I guess I don't understand why you would invest so much energy to get so riled up over an issue, but then not make sure you know the truth about each side. I think the men in Oregon are taking a really bold stand right now. I'm not saying I know all the information, and I definitely don't want to report on something I'm uneducated on, but my opinion thus far was it was about these ranchers who did what they were told. They were hired to do a job, cleared some woods. The government decided they changed their mind on their story, and they are seeking to have these ranchers serve prison time again for something that they were hired to do. It just seems a little fishy, and I know our government is known for being fishy. I just think it's really weird how everybody jumped on the bandwagon to call these guys, homegrown terrorists. These groups aren't attacking anyone, and yet all they're receiving back is attack. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. These people are just groups of people just like you and I who want something to change. And if you want change, we live in a time period, we live in a world, we live in a way that sometimes you have to get loud, sometimes you have to make noise, sometimes you have to break things. And I guess I don't understand where all the people are coming from saying, oh my God, you're blocking traffic, or oh my God, you can't occupy a building I'll never go to because I've never heard of it, because don't go against our government. Like, God damn, if people thought like that all the time, we'd all be dead. You guys get that now, right? Like, so many people jump on a bandwagon just because it's easiest. Like, oh, they're anti the government, so don't support them, when really their message is every human being has the right to walk this land and not have their privacy taken away by a few old white men with saggy balls who want to jerk off to your emails and your text messages. Like, that's not fair. Wake up. Like, start realizing what these people, these rednecks or these stupid black people who are occupying the streets of your country to change things, to progress things for the better. They're helping you and your children have a better life. And you're sitting there either doing nothing or doing stuff that harms their movement, because their movement helps everyone. Honestly, like, the way the media is spinning this shit, the way the media is manipulating us to fear and to hate each other, it's stupid. I cannot believe people don't see past this by now. These men in Oregon deserve a chance to speak. Did they do things the way that you would? Probably not, because that's why you're up in arms. Are they doing something? Yeah. Are they doing something that's hurting you? No. Are they doing something that could potentially help you? Yeah. Like, this is where I'm confused. Just because they're saying, hey, government, we don't like what you're doing to us, you're taking away our land, statistics are showing that 50% of the land in Oregon is owned by the government. Therefore, if you want to be a small farmer or rancher, you have to lease your land from the government. Does that sound fair to you? Does that sound like something maybe a small militia of men should take arms to a federal building and say, hey, we want to be heard right now? I mean, that's all they're doing. They want to be heard. And the reason some people aren't listening is because they're so quick to jump down somebody's throat with a cause because they were told by Fox News or MSNBC or fucking Elizabeth Hasselbeck that they need to think a certain way. because as a God-fearing Christian woman, she knows all. Like, this is silly. This is so stupid. We need to all start living our lives being able to decipher what is a problem that the world needs to take care of, what's a problem that our country needs to look at, and what's a problem that just needs to stay inside your family for a kitchen table talk discussion. Like, we really need to start prioritizing our issues because our country is being run by buffoons, and if we don't start standing up for these small grassroots problems, they're getting out of hand. And then our government's just going to take away all goddamn privacy. And what? We're going to have thought police? Is this Minority Report? Tom Cruise? Ew, get out of my life. Like, no, thank you. And hashtag, have any of you seen Geraldo Rivera report on Fox News? Ew. Like, what is that man doing? Is he acting? Like, he'll take breaks and pauses and he'll do those. Like, in a sentence, I saw him yesterday, and I'll just attach a small segment of it below because you guys, you have to see this. Look.
And more recently, according to Washington writer Dan Moldea, who is considering writing a book with Palfrey, he says she told him last year, "I'm not going back to..."
Okay, back? Isn't that disturbing? Like, what is he doing? Geraldo kept speaking to them in such an icky way, it made me feel like I was being molested. Like, it was that creepy uncle, like when you're growing up, who's like sitting in the corner, drinking beer, hand on his crotch, watching the football game all alone, and is like, come over here. Like, he's just creepy to me. When did Geraldo turn creepy? I didn't know he talked like this. Anyway, that's so just a sidebar. It was just like a, whoa, weird. That's what Fox News is. And it's interesting to me that people take it seriously. Sorry if you're a Fox News supporter, you know, do you. I'm not judging where people get their news, but I'm kind of judging where you're getting your news. Lemony. Anyway, all of this to say, I just want people to take the time to realize where their news is coming from. If you're getting it from somebody who sounds like they're molesting you at a cocktail party after you're 2 roofies in, maybe they're not the best newscaster. Maybe you should start clicking over to a different station. Or maybe you should check out YouTube for some of those independent networks like RT and like BBC. Or maybe you should really fish around for some independent journalists who are digging deep. I know Abby Martin is my new favorite. Love me some Joe Rogan, some Jesse Ventura. I've talked about these people before. Russell Brand doing great things. So if you would be so inclined, take a little time to do a YouTube search or a Google search and check them out. Honestly, if we start getting our news from different sources, I think we'll stop wondering why half of the country is talking about the same issue and the other half of the country has no idea what's going on. We need to start looking at different news sources, and I think it'll really change a lot. So continue to do you in any way you see fit. Leave comments below on anything related to this discussion. It kind of went all over the place. And have a good Tuesday. I'll see you later this week. Peace.